All right, so the first thing we're going to do is lay over a block and see about trying to just maybe work with that little spot in the upper back that can get a little bit stuck. So if you'll get a block, I'm going to suggest 2 blocks or a block and a folded blanket so that your head can be supported with something as we're kind of lifting the heart. So I'm just going to take my folded blanket and fold it again until it's about the size of a yoga block and use that to put my head on so it's a little softer. So the block will go horizontally across your mat. And then like we do very often, you'll come down and set the edge of the block right about at your bra line height and lay your head down on either another block or a blanket. And then bring your legs down to the floor. Just take a moment. Not a bad idea to have a little mini shavasana for a moment or two. Just feel the pressure of that block into your back and notice what does it feel like? Does it feel like something is beginning to shift? Do you feel your body resisting the lift? Is your body holding itself in a way that isn't allowing the full weight of your body to drape over that block? Arms are straight out in a kind of a T position, or you can have the hands even closer to your body, more like Shavasana. And we're just going to breathe really deeply, kind of into the chest. Big, deep inhale in through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. And 2 more rounds of that. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Now, can your upper body stay in this somewhat relaxed state with that block underneath the back? Bend your knees. Widen your feet. And we'll just do a little windshield wiping with the upper back supported. So drop the knees over to the right. Just see what you notice as the legs just release to the side. Even maybe noticing how your weight shifts on that block that's underneath you. And then bringing the knees back to center. Drop the knees over to the left. Got a little snap. Notice how, again, how your weight is being distributed between the shoulder blades with that block under you. And then come back to center. And take the legs all the way down to the floor. So Tadasana legs, pulling the toes back toward your head a little bit. And then reach your arms up alongside of the ears, as long as your shoulders are okay with that. You can do whatever you want with your hands. You can have your hands pretty wide, as if you're holding a big ball between your hands. Thumbs are perhaps touching the floor. Opening up through the chest, through the shoulders a little bit here. And there's a little bit of pulling the bottom tips of the shoulder blades in toward the mid-back. Breathing. All right, let's bend the knees, bring the arms down to your sides, and then let's roll to the side. Move the block and the blanket out of the way, or whatever you had under your head, and come right to your belly for a Sphinx pose. Settle down into your chest a little bit and pull back gently in your forearms and your hands, and see what you notice about that that spot in the middle of the upper to mid back. Pulling back in the forearms, pulling the low belly in and up. Maybe you can lift your elbows up and curl a little deeper into that. Or if it feels like, ooh, that's a little bit much, then don't do that. You can keep your elbows down on the floor. And go ahead and come all the way down to your belly, chin on your hands, pick your feet up. Push the knees down into the floor and lift your bottom up a little bit. So you get a little space under your hip flexors. And then pull your low belly in and up as you hug your knees towards your midline. And then release that. Just let your belly come down to the floor, but keep your legs up there. And just drop your feet kind of without a lot of muscular energy or all of that stuff. Just let your feet drop a little from side to side. And then bring the legs back down to the floor. Take your right arm out in front. We're going to roll onto the right side and come into that big scissor-legged twist. So the left leg comes forward, the right leg moves back, and then roll open. Let your head come off of the arm. Reach your left arm back behind you as long as your shoulder's okay with that. If there's anything that feels at issue for the shoulder, hand can stay on the hip. But just enjoy the twist, kind of pushing through the heels a little bit. Breathing. Breathe into that spot in the middle of the back here, if you can. Just imagine that that's where the breath is going. Go ahead and roll back onto your belly and we'll switch sides. So taking your left arm out in front, go ahead and roll onto the left side. Scissoring the legs, right forward, left back. And then rolling open, taking your right arm back behind you. Or hand to the hip if you like. See if you can push through your heels, straightening your legs a little bit. It's a nice twist for the spine. Feels good, lower back, sides. And then try to breathe into that spot in the mid-back again. And then roll back onto your belly. Slide your hands back alongside of your chest. Let's come up to table. And let's work a little bit of cat and cow. If you need any padding, feel free to grab a blanket. And once you get set up, just go ahead and start moving your spine in your cat and cow. I'm just got to get the hair up here. All right. Moving to the pace that works best for you. Inhaling. Exhaling. Oh, yeah. Inhaling, sinking through the chest, lifting the sitting bones, and exhaling, pushing the arms straight and getting a big stretch in your back. And then move your hips back a little bit while you're in your cat pose. And then move your shoulders forward a little bit in your cat pose. And then move your hips back a little bit in your cat pose. Now come back to center, still in your cat pose, and then just move yourself around a little more in a circle. Tucking the chin. And maybe go the other way. And then come back to neutral and bring your forearms down to the floor. So bring your hands into prayer position, walk your knees back, and sit your hips back a little bit. So coming into a little bit more of a puppy pose in the lower body. Getting a stretch in the sides. Maybe you can bring in your hands to prayer. You could drop your thumbs back behind your head. Get a little tricep stretch as well as a stretch into your side bodies. breathing. All right, and let's release. Bring the hands back to the floor and come on up to table. Let's find our first downward dog. So curl the toes under, lift your knees, and come on up. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Feel free to root through perhaps opposite heels as you open your calves a little bit. Feel free to really work that Ujjayi breath. So, like we've been doing this past week or so, maybe you're exhaling through the mouth just because it feels good. And feel free to sigh, make some noise if you like. Let's go ahead and lift that right leg up. On your exhale, bring your right foot forward, find your lunge legs. Come on up to your crescent lunge. Arms up alongside of the ears, settling into the legs a little bit. Then bring the hands right back down to the floor and step back to down dog. We'll go right to the second side, so lifting the left leg. On your exhale, bring your left foot forward, find your lunge legs. Come on up to your crescent lunge. Waking up the legs, feeling into them a little bit. Bring the hands to the floor and step back to down dog. Let's go ahead and step the feet up to the hands. Come to the first standing forward fold of the evening. Checking in with your hamstrings. Letting your head go, getting some traction for the neck. All that really can help, especially if you're feeling a little caught in the spine, between the shoulder blades, having some traction. Letting the head go can be very helpful. Bend your knees, slide your hands up your shins to your knees as you find your skier stance. And come right up to standing, taking the arms up and overhead. Bring the palms together, slide your hands to heart center, and release your arms down. So let's inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway forward, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold it. Step back with your right foot into your lunge. Come on back up to your crescent lunge. Bend the elbows out to the sides, coming into a cactus arm position. And pull the bottom tips of the shoulder blades in. And then bring your arms out in front of you. Bring your elbows, forearms, and hands together. And then come forward toward the inside of your front leg. You'll rest your forehead right on your hands. Elbows are together. And then release the hands to the floor. Step to downward dog. Let's take a vinyasa. So shift forward into your plank. Lower down to the floor. Point your toes and let's take a cobra pose. Taking a little back bend here. And lower down. We're going to do 2 more of those. Shrug the shoulder heads up towards your ears and engage your abdomen, and then lift up. Roll those shoulders back. And lower down. And 1 more round. Shrug the shoulders up, pull your low belly up, and then pull the shoulders back. And lower down. Press up to table. Sit back in a puppy pose after those back bends. Set the elbows back on the floor, hands in prayer. Drop your thumbs back behind your head again. Lengthening the sides. Opening up through the shoulders. And then bring the hands to the floor. Come up to table. Let's come up to down dog. And at the end of your exhale, either hop or step your feet to your hands. Forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway forward for Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale and fold in. Now bend your knees. Bring your hands into a clasp behind you. Lift the shoulder heads up and pull them away from the floor, and then come up to kind of more like a chair pose position, lifting the hands gently away from your lower back or the belly, in and up. Now come on up to standing, release the hands and take your arms out into a T position, and then hug yourself. So cross the left arm over the right, see if your fingertips can find the edges of your shoulder blades, and then just twist your body, but try to keep your hips stable. Keep breathing. And then release. Let your arms come down to your sides and open your palms. Find your mountain pose stance for a moment. Let's inhale, take your arms up and over your head. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold in. Let's step back with the left foot, find your lunge legs. Come on back up to crescent lunge, arms up alongside of the ears. Bend the elbows out into cactus position and lift up through the heart as you pull the bottoms of the shoulder, bottom tips of the shoulder blades in toward the spine. Try not to narrow the upper shoulders as you do that, leaning into it. Now bring the arms forward again, elbows, forearms, and hands together. And then with a long spine, come forward toward the inside of your right leg. Rest your forehead on the back of your thumbs just for a moment or two. And release the hands to the floor. Step to downward facing dog. Shift forward into plank pose. And let's come down to the floor. Take the right arm out in front, left arm alongside of the body. And then lift the left leg, lift your torso, and lift both arms. So keep the top of the right foot down, pull your abdomen in and up. And release, and we'll switch sides. So take the left arm out in front, right arm alongside of your body, and lift your right leg. Keep your thighs pretty much parallel at your hip distance, and then engage your abdomen, lift your torso. And release. Rest your chin on your hands. Relax your back completely. And slide the hands back alongside of your chest, press to table. Sit back in your puppy pose. Now come back up to table for a moment. If you have 2 blocks, we're going to take 2 blocks. If you don't have 2 blocks, then you could probably use 1. 2 blocks is better, or actually what might be better than just using 1 block is just to take your bolster horizontally along the mat if you only have 1 block, because that's going to enable you to have your arms out wider, right? So either 2 blocks right to the outer edges of the mat, parallel to each other, or just put your bolster horizontally. So what we're going to do is bring the forearms onto either the blocks or the bolster, turn the palms up so your hands are kind of draping over the top edge of whatever you've got going on there. And then move your hips back. Try to keep the palms facing up, because as you move the hips back, your arms will want to start to spin in. Pull the hips back. And if this does not work for you for any reason, then you're going to come out of the pose. Right? But see if you can stay here with the arms externally rotated. Moving the hips back. Deepening the stretch down into the sides and into the shoulders. And then lifting the hips, come back to center, still with the forearms up on the bolster, or maybe you can put your elbows up on either the blocks or the bolster. Bring your hands to prayer and sit back. So the same position we've been in a couple of times, only you've got the elbows elevated now. So we're going a little deeper into the shoulders here. Try to have your elbows, your shoulder distance, they could be slightly wider. Try to rest your forehead on the mat if you can, dropping your thumbs back behind your neck. And breathing into that spot in the middle of your back. Finding a sense of fullness there as the breath pulls in and moves out. All right, and then go ahead and start to bring the hands down. Lift your hips, and we'll come out of this. All right, so let's move the blocks or the bolster, whatever you were using there, move that out of the way. Place your hands for downward facing dog, and let's go ahead and come on back up. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay, so let's go ahead and step your feet up to your hands. Come to forward fold. Bend your knees. Bring your hands to prayer position in front of your heart. Take your arms up to chair pose and come all the way up to standing. Bringing the hands right through heart center. Release your arms to your sides and find your mountain stance. Relax your arms and shoulders for a moment or two. So you can find that sense of the architecture of your body holding itself up without that much effort. And then let's inhale, take the arms up and overhead. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold in. Bend your knees, slide your hands up your shins to your knees, and then bring your hands to prayer position while your legs are in skier stance. We're going to step back, and it takes a little balance. We're going to step back with the right foot to find lunge legs, but you're going to have to take all the way to the left foot, pick up your right foot, and then set it back there. So find your lunge leg position. Take your arms back out into this cactus pose, lifting up through the heart. So you've been in this position before. Now, tip forward through your torso, keeping those cactus arms. We're going to see if we can come forward and balance standing on the left foot. So bring it forward. See if you can pick up your right leg, right toes point down. You can stand on a bent leg or it could be straight, whatever your body seems to require right now. Try to find your balance, squaring the hips to the floor. And then we're going to step back with the right foot. Find your lunge legs again. So set the foot down. Coming back up, back into the cactus position with the arms. Release the hands into a clasp behind you and tip forward again. Bringing your torso to the inside of your front leg, lifting the arms, dropping the head. Release the hands to the floor and step to downward dog. Nice to be off of that leg, isn't it? Let's take a vinyasa between sides here. So shift forward into your plank, lower down to the floor. Take the back bend that feels like it's calling you. And then lower down. Take a breather in a child's pose or a puppy pose. Big, full, deep breaths in and exhales out. And finding your way back up to table. and back to downward facing dog. Hop or step your feet to your hands, bowing forward, Uttanasana. And then just start to bring your knees to a bend, make sure your feet are at least at your hip distance width as you bring your hands to heart center. So shift your weight over to your right foot. We're going to go through that same sequence, stepping back with the left foot into lunge legs. So hold on to that weight on the right foot, pick up your left foot, and step it back. Find your lunge legs, take the arms up, crescent lunge, and then bend the elbows. Pull the sternum up and forward, and pull your shoulders back. And now start to round forward. Find a sense of fullness and lift in your kidneys as your torso comes forward, and then press off of your back foot to come to balance. Woohoo! Standing on your right leg. Left toes pointing toward the floor, arms are still in cactus position. So just a variation of a warrior three. Breathing. And then perhaps a little bend in your standing leg as you set back into your left foot. Take your arms back out into that cactus position. And then come back to an upright spine, bringing your hands into a clasp behind you. Roll the shoulder heads back and exhale. Bring your chest inside of your right leg as you lift your arms. Breathing. All right, then lifting up, release the hands to the floor. Step to downward facing dog. Set the knees down wide now. Just take a little child's pose rest. You can have your arms out in front of you in pranam, or you can wrap your arms around the sides of your body. Whatever works best as you find a little sense of weight in the sitting bones. Maybe they start to deepen toward the heels a little bit more. And then walk your hands in toward yourself. And we're going to take a seat. So if you will, take a blanket or whatever it is that you like to sit on when we find a cross-legged seat. And we'll do that unless for some reason the cross-legged seat just isn't quite doing it for you right now. In which case you can sit up on a block. You can sit on a chair too if you want. So let's see where we land here. Great. Okay, so we're going to take eagle position with the arms. Take the arms up, cross the left elbow over the right, and intertwine. Pull the shoulder heads back and the shoulder blades down a little bit. And then twist your torso to the left. Strengthen your abdomen. And then come through center and take your torso over to the right. So when we're seated and doing this, the lower body is stable. We've just really worked the lower body pretty well. So we're just working the upper body in this shoulder work here. Come back to center and then come forward. Is it possible to rest your forehead on the back of your hands or your thumb as you just sit? Maybe there's a sense of opening in the hips as you're drawing your shoulder blades down towards your waistline. And you're breathing. And then slowly come on up, unravel your arms, and just rest your hands on your legs or your thighs for a moment. See if you can really let go of all this stuff. Let the shoulders go. Let the weight of your hands really just release onto your legs. Breathing into that spot in the mid-back. Hopefully it's letting up a bit. All right, let's come into eagle position with the arms, crossing the right elbow over the left, intertwining. Yes. And again, when you find your arms crossed, particularly with the right over the left, the right shoulder may end up being higher than the left. Can you pull the right shoulder head back and then pull both shoulder blades down a little bit? Now take a big deep inhale. Try to keep that engagement in the shoulders. And exhale and twist your torso over to the right, taking the arms with you. Breathing. Or to the left. I went to the left. So go whichever way you're going to go, and then we'll go the other way. All right, come back to center. And on your next exhale, go the opposite direction, whatever that is for you. And come back to center. Now go ahead and unravel the arms. Take your hands back behind you into a clasp if that works for you and your shoulders. Lift up the shoulder heads and pull them back so you get that sense of trying to open up through the chest a little bit here. Now keep the chest open and the shoulders back and come forward again. Maybe you can lift the hands up gently, or maybe you just keep your hands lower down, closer to the back. But the effort here is in lifting up the shoulder heads and then come back up to center. Now keeping the hands back behind you, can you lift the hands up just a little bit higher? So you feel the bottom tips of the shoulder blades kind of pressing into the back ribs a little bit. And then breathe into your back body. And release your arms again. Just rest the hands on your thighs, your knees. Feeling into it. Feel this sense of expansion in the torso as you're breathing. So there is a sense of almost like relief. So if there's any tension, like any thoughts, feelings, emotions that were wrapped tight around your heart, you know, kind of think about what the inside of a golf ball looks like, right? So you've got all those rubber bands wrapped in all those different directions around the core of the ball. Imagine that you've got all of these different things, feelings and emotions and old energies that wrap around the heart. And then what if all of those rubber bands lost their elasticity at once and they just kind of went boing and they just released? And they're no longer binding with all of that tightness around the heart center. What would happen to your breath when that all released? So breathe now as if that just happened around your heart, breathing into your chest, breathing into the back body. Okay, now from here, let's just bring the soles of the feet together to come into Baddha Konasana. Feel free to sit up on a little more height if you need to. You're just going to bring the soles of the feet together and take the hands to the front of your shins or your ankles, whatever you can grab a hold of. Pull back gently with your hands, bring the chest forward, tipping the sternum slightly upright. And then rounding your back as if you're coming into cat pose. So let the mid-back push back, tucking your chin and getting whatever stretch is available, perhaps in the upper back and the neck this time. And then inhale, pull the low back in and up, sit up taller. And exhale, another cat-type pose. Tucking the chin, stretching the neck, and perhaps feel how deeply down the back that stretch goes when you really got your neck in flexion here. And coming back to center and sitting upright. Now this time we're going to come forward and work in the hips a little bit more. So holding onto the shins, push the feet into one another, pull back on the shins, and then you come forward just an inch or so. Hang out there for a moment, pushing the feet into one another. Pull your lower belly in and up as you make the attempt to move the legs down toward the floor. They're only going to go where they're going to go, and that's a perfectly fine place for them to be. Now on your next exhale, pull back on the ankles again. See if you can come maybe another inch or two forward. Feeling into the hips, feeling the four corners of the feet pressing into each other, breathing. The sense of length in the spine. There's energy reaching out through the crown of your head. And then come back up. All right, so now let's take lift up your left leg, take your right foot further over. You're going to kind of tuck your right heel towards your left buttock and then cross your left ankle over your right leg. So coming into this position, trying to have both sitting bones evenly lifted on the blanket or whatever it is you're sitting on. Okay, now sit nice and tall as you pull your left leg toward yourself. Hold on to the left leg with your right hand and give yourself a twist. So twist from the heart. Like there's a beam of light coming out from your chest, and that light is lighting up the wall as you turn. The right hand can come back to the floor behind you, roll the shoulder back. Try to keep the sole of your left foot on the floor. It may want to peel up, coming into a nice big twist here. Now come back to center, but keep your legs in this cross. Just hang out here for a moment or two, just holding on to the legs. Now we're going to take this into a little deeper variation of this twist if going deeper feels like the thing you want to do. So again, sit tall, pull back on the legs. You can either hold your left leg with your right hand and twist just like you did, or take your right arm outside of the leg, push the forearm or the elbow against the thigh, and see if you can take yourself deeper. You can always do the stop sign hand as well. And just breathe as you're turning. Big deep inhale. Big exhale as your torso twists. And then bring yourself back to center. Great, let's go to the other side. So taking the left heel toward the right buttock, cross your right ankle over your left leg, finding your seat. Try to even the weight on the sitting bones. Bringing your hands to the front of your right shin or knee and then pulling back on that so that you get a nice sense of height through your spine, nice and tall. Breathing fully. And then again, we'll twist to the right. Have a sense that the twist is happening right from your sternum. So just hold on to that right leg with your left hand and keep your spine tall as it's like this flashlight right in your heart is sending this beam of light all the way around to the side as you're coming into your twist. Setting the left hand on the floor behind, or the right hand on the floor behind you, and just going as deeply into that twist as your body feels comfortable with it. Breathing as you remain in the twist. Sometimes we twist and we forget to breathe, or we hold the breath. Keep your breath as full as you can. And then slowly bring yourself back to center. Just sit tight for a moment for the tall spine. Kind of letting the spiral action of the spine kind of undo itself. Everything clicks back into place there. And now that the spine has had the experience of twisting this way, let's remind it and perhaps go a little deeper. So now sit tall and we'll twist to the right again. Do whatever feels right with your left arm. It can just Elbow could come to the outer leg, and you get a little deeper purchase as you twist. Or stop sign arm, nice and grounded in the sitting bones. Think about this twist. Even though you've got more help from the arms, you're still doing this twist from the center of the heart. And then come back to center. Great. Uncross the legs, and let's take the legs out to Upavishta Konasana now. Just getting that deep bend out of the knees. So having the sitting bones, again, elevated up on whatever you've got there. Just bring your fingertips to your shoulders. We're just going to roll the shoulders. Keep a little strength in your core as you're doing this, and then reverse. Go the opposite direction. Keep your spine tall. Notice what you're feeling as you do this. How's your back? And then release. Okay, so let's slide the left hand down the left shin. Maybe you can just rest your left forearm on the leg. Turn your torso to look forward, and then take your right arm up. It could go straight up, or you could bring it alongside of the ear as you work perhaps a little more deeply down into the right side of the body. Try to keep your right sitting bone on the ground as you're reaching to the left. Now turn your torso to look down toward your left leg and bring your hands down. Push your left hand down and forward isometrically to pull the left hip back and get a little more square to your left leg. And then see if you can come forward a little bit. Just breathing into that, saying hello to the hamstrings a little more deeply. And if your right hand is available to the left foot, you could bring the hand to the ball of the foot. Push the foot into the hand as you come forward towards your left leg. All right, and then slowly bring yourself back to your seat. Just sit upright for a moment with hands on your knees or your thighs or your shins, wherever they're comfortable, letting your spine, again, just find its way back. So everything lines back up. Click, 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 all the way up. All right, and now we'll slide the right hand down the right shin. You can keep the elbow lifted if that's a better place for you, or set the forearm down on the shin, taking that left shoulder head back. Left arm goes up, either up to vertical, or bringing the arm alongside of the ear and deepening the side stretch. And as you reach the left arm to the right, try to keep the left sitting bone on the ground. Breathing. Now spinning your chest to look down towards your right leg. Just set both hands on the floor on either side of your leg. Your right hand is going to push forward isometrically so that your right hip and right side body can pull back. So you get a little bit more square to that right leg with your torso. And then from here, with that tall spine, can you come forward toward the leg? Try to stay nice and grounded in your left seat as you're coming toward the leg. If your left hand is available to the right foot, feel free to grab a hold of it as you come forward. Deeply stretching down into the lower left side. And hopefully you're feeling this under the shoulder blades and into the side bodies as well. All this can contribute to that kind of mid-back stuff. And coming back up, just sit upright for a moment. Feeling the effects of the twists and the side stretches, and become aware again of how it feels between the shoulder blades in the back body. And as you become aware of that again, breathe into the heart, into the back of the heart and the front of the heart and the sides of the heart. As if there are no more bindings around the heart and there's just expansion as your breath moves concentrically around your heart. All right, and now let's go ahead and come down onto our backs, and if you'll grab your strap. Let's go ahead and take both feet up in the strap. Taking your legs up to a vertical position and wrapping one strap in each hand. So we'll just find this as our kind of a gentle inversion tonight, coming into legs up the wall without the wall. And as you hold on to the straps, see if you can let your feet kind of press forward gently against that strap so that you're not lifting the sitting bones up and putting pressure on the upper part of your lumbar spine. Just hanging out with this for a moment or two. Now, while you're in this position, it doesn't really occur to us to be aware of what's happening with the mid-back. See if you can let your arms be really heavy. Still hold the strap as lightly as you can, but let your arms get heavier. And imagine that the center of your back, your upper back, is also getting more heavy and releasing its full weight onto the mat underneath you. So you're not trying to arch your back, you're not holding any muscular energy back there. How much can you let your back go while you have your legs up? Now we're going to do a couple rounds of breath here. So fully release all the breath. Big deep inhale in through the nose. Fill up the whole torso, belly, and lower belly with breath. Hold it for a moment. And then exhale and release it through an open mouth. Inhale in deeply to fill the whole torso with breath. And then exhale, mouth open. Now, as you're inhaling this time, try to press down a little bit more through your mid-back into the floor underneath yourself. So inhale and really kind of press that part of your back down. And then exhale and let it go. Just resume your normal breath here. And let's take the left leg down to the floor. Go ahead and take both of the straps into your right hand. And we'll just take the Supta Padangusthasana, right leg out to the right. Can you keep that sense of heaviness and release in your mid-back, even as you're holding on to both straps with your right hand? So try to let your back, again, just be as released as possible. And then bring that right leg back up to center. Switch the straps into the left hand and go ahead and cross right leg to the left. Back into that twist, similar to where we were earlier in practice. But don't try so hard in your body right now. Just kind of be in the shape and allow your breath to just simply wash through you. All right, and let's bring the left leg or the right leg back to center. Switch your legs. Take your left foot up, your right leg down. With both straps in the left hand, reaching the right arm out to the right. Slowly take your left leg out to the left. And once you find the full expression of this position, let go of your back muscles as much as you can. You're in the shape with less effort. And then let's bring that left leg all the way up into center. Switch the straps into the right hand and cross your left leg over to the right. Again, same thing. Once the leg gets to wherever it's going to go, relax. Relax your back muscles. Don't worry about where your shoulder blades are right now. I know that we have that focus a lot of times, but right now you've really, really worked the muscles of your upper back. Let them go. Again, focusing ease of breath in the upper back and torso. And then let's bring the left leg back to center. And go ahead and step out of the strap. All right, please roll to your side. Come on up to a seat. And we're going to need the bolster and a block. We're going to set ourselves up in kind of our Supta Padangusthasana position here. And I don't know where my other bolster went, but I'll grab this one. So you're going to set one block horizontally on the mat and make a ramp with your bolster, like so. And so you can get really, really comfortable for our final relaxation here. I know you guys are very well versed in this pose. And then once you have your bolster set, you're going to bring your sacrum up to the end of the bolster and go ahead and lay back on it. Oh, yeah. If you need a blanket under your head, feel free to do that. But if you feel pretty comfortable here after all the work that we've done in the upper body tonight, hopefully you're feeling pretty comfortable with this. And notice if you feel like the flesh of the back is getting pushed up, and see if you can just adjust, pull the shoulder blades down, and then relax it completely. Fully letting the weight of your upper back go as it's resting against the bolster. Having something somewhat soft, pressing against your mid and upper back. See if you can really let go of all the effort in the muscles of the back. Let your spine relax. See if you can let your breath be nice and full. Relax your facial muscles. Let go of every bit of effort in your body if you can. All right, so gently bring your awareness now back to your breath. And see if you can really just observe the state of relaxation in your physical body and hopefully in the upper body, upper back, mid-back area. And keeping a sense of, oh gosh, what's the word I want to use here? Sponginess almost in your upper back like this. Just start to bring some movement into your hands and your feet. And then when you feel ready, just bend your knees and slowly slide off to the side as you come up to your seat. Great. All right. And if you'll bring your hands to Anjali Mudra. Lovely. So I send so much love and deep gratitude to all of my teachers. As always, ladies, it's great to be here with you, and I hope that this is going to serve you well as you move into the evening and it's really started to kind of open up that spot back there. So thank you all so much for coming. Om Shanti Namaste.